Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. My name is Emo Aladdin, and I am going to cover some ideas for your upcoming member spotlight. So, as most of you members know, the member spotlight is added into the agenda once a chapter reaches Act 2 status. So, what is the member spotlight? So, it is a 10-minute presentation given by a member of that chapter. It's on a rotation basis. It's a fair rotation basis. So, you pretty much, once you're done with your member spotlight, you'll be at the back of the line for your upcoming member spotlight. So, this video is to help guide you along the path towards a very successful, memorable, and hopefully a profitable member spotlight. So, first things first, of course, quite basically, is the topic. What are you going to cover? So let's start with the musicians. As a musician, you don't have to perform, right? Some of us musicians perform as a band, and the entire band might not be able to make it to a meeting, and so it doesn't really make sense to have a performance. However, there are many other things you can do with your spotlight. Of course, it can be a listening party, it can be a viewing party if it's a music video, it can be a presentation, right? So don't ever feel like you need to perform for your member spotlight. Most people want to learn more about you, who you are, your path, your journey, what got you to where you are. However, if you are equipped to perform, highly encourage it, especially if you are looking to expand on the performance part of your music business. I touched a little bit on the listening party, right? So if you have a recorded piece of material, it makes sense to have that as part of your member spotlight. I don't really advise having your entire 10 minutes being a performance. We really want to know more about you, but of course, we do want to get an idea about your music and hear it and experience it. So, for business professionals, of course, it's going to be probably a presentation, maybe a quiz. I've seen a few people put together some games like a quiz and a game show format, and those are a lot of fun, memorable, but it helps educate your fellow members about what it is that you do. But these 10 minutes are valuable, and so you want to make the most of them. And that's why selecting your topic beforehand instead of just winging it is probably the best idea. So once you have your topic selected, right, it could be anything from the basics of my business or my journey in music so far. Once you have that topic selected, you're going to want to know who you'd like in the room to experience that member spotlight alongside your members. So I want you guys to start thinking about who your top prospects are and who your top connections are. And that applies for both musicians and business professionals. Once you identify who your top prospects are and who your top connections are, it's pretty easy to indicate who you want invited in the room. Demographics, of course. So if we're thinking of in terms of a musician, prospect, those are the folks who are going to fall in love with your music, your fans. What are those demographics? Are they the 18 to 26, right? Are they the 27 to 34? Are the older crowd, right? Are they the kids? But you want to indicate those folks, and you're going to place all of this information in the app. And so get with your coach to understand how to use the part of the app, but it's pretty simple. You just click over on the left, and you will see a spot that says Member Spotlights, and you'll just click next to your name, and you will fill in your topic. You'll fill in your prospects and connections. Okay, so those are the folks that you want in the room. And as far as connections, of course, prospects for a business professional are going to be your clients, right? Their demographics, single mothers, families, people in the seniors. You'll get to indicate who your top prospects are, and depending on what your topic's going to be about, it might change here and there, right? Because if you're, an estate planning attorney, you might have a topic that gears more towards people that are in retirement, as opposed to a few weeks down the road when you want to select a topic that's about preparing for retirement, right? So you want to really change up who you're going to want as far as your prospects in the room. And then connections, obviously, we know what those are, right? The gifts that keep on giving. Those are the professions that are going to feed you continuous fans and continuous clients. For musicians, great connections are fellow musicians, but also booking agents, record producers, record labels, publicists, writers, podcasters, all those guys. Those are great connections to have in the room so that when they experience your member spotlight, that they will bring you on their show or they'll get you into a show, but they will connect you with fans. And of course, for business professionals, connections are partners, professions that don't compete with you. In fact, they are integral for the growth of your business and identifying those connections, especially as it relates to the topic you cover. You're going to want to indicate those in the app as you fill out your portion. And the last thing that I want you to make sure you fill out is who's going to introduce you. And of course, we all know who you are. We all know your name. We all know your story. Absolutely. The visitors don't. So you always want to think of assigning someone to introduce you, but more importantly, what they're going to say. Of course, you'll want to take up most of the 10 minutes, but 1 minute out of that spotlight should go towards a fellow member so that they can introduce you. Of course, if you have a guest, right, one of your top clients who is supporting you and attending the meeting so they can want your spotlight, they can introduce you. Absolutely. You'll have to indicate this so that the MC is prepared. But this minute is crucial because you're going to be able to write about you what you probably won't want to say, right? How amazing you are and what it is that makes you amazing. You don't want to say it, but you want people to know. And so those are the 3 factors that you need to put in order to be fully prepared for your spotlight. I'm going to give you a couple of guidelines as to what to prepare or how to present for your spotlight. We will be rolling out training sessions that goes into this much deeper. This is really designed so that you can just at least get something together on a musician's side and on the business professional side. 9 minutes is a long time. So especially when it's, 9 minutes of filling in some really valuable information, that's exciting. So I like to break things down into 3s, and so have 3 different segments. And so in the case of a musician, of course, you can give the backstory on 3 different songs, right? Or you can change it up. You can give the backstory on a song. You can tell everybody how you found your guitar player. And you can tell the story about how somebody jumped on stage and joined you and sang your song for you. But breaking it into 3 helps really give you your members a clearer idea as to what it is that you do. And in the case of a business professional, you can break it down into 3 case studies, right? If there are 3 different scenarios that you can help your clients, absolutely. Or you can have 1 case study of how you help your clients, right? Those demographics. But also you can cover about your top connections. Have one of the segments being about how a CPA is your top connection because you can refer clients to them and they can refer clients to you, but giving the scenario as to what that means, because most of us don't even know what that means. Yes, we know you can refer to a CPA and CPA can refer to you, but how? So get really creative with these 3 segments and, of course, split them into 3 minutes each. And what I advise, last but not least, is don't leave room for questions because that can just throw a curveball. And you do not want to give up control of your spotlight. This is your spotlight, yeah? So spotlight should be on you and you alone. And if you have 1 minute to go and someone asks you a question that requires 4 minutes of explanation, you're not going to be able to cut that explanation down to 1 minute because you'll really want to explain yourself, especially if it puts you on the spot and your credibility could be in question. So what happens when you do have a minute to go? Well, end it, right? We don't have to take up the entire 10 minutes, although you'll want to, and you want to time yourself. Rehearse, practice. In fact, get with your coach and send a message. Say, hey, do you have 10 minutes? I'd love to run my spotlight by you, and you can give me your notes. But this helps you, run it once before having to do it in front of the chapter members, because especially if you're sharing your screen or if you're sharing your music, right? If you're playing your music and you want to make sure that the audio is heard, the last thing you want is to spend 3 minutes out of your 10 minutes figuring out your audio. So get it ready, get prepared, before the meeting, of course, by a day maybe, I would say. But get with your coach. If you don't have a coach, get a coach. But if you can't get a coach, reach out to a fellow member and ask them, hey, can I get a session with you? I'd love to learn about your feature links and figure out how to share your links. And I've also got a spotlight coming up, and I could use an extra set of ears and eyes to give me some notes on my spotlight. So I wanted to keep this short. I hope you learned something. The spotlight is a big opportunity to grow your fan base and to grow your business. And so make the best of it. Take care.